threat. Sure, Venom can dive in, but a lot of pressure on Naga, I think, to find some kind of a kill here. Magneto walks up, but I mean, the pressure from Groot is really overwhelming. As soon as this Venom backs out, yeah, Royal Beamer is very confident and aggressive. They lose one, but this flank is aggressive.
It's not bad from Naga, but look at how they've had to extend so deeply into this fight to get value out of that. Dance of the Butterfly is here, but it's laughable against a team that has, you know, both of their strategists and at least one strategist ultimate to make use of.
They were the underdogs in this match. Level 1 Crook, though, opening up on a Pokey. That's a critical opening. Nice catch. That should give Luminosity the opportunity to cap, but they need to do it holding on to some key ultimates. Royal Beamers going to try to clutch this out.
Okay, there it is. Naga flattened to the bottom meteor rim. There's going to be one coming the way from Luminosity now. A Dance of the Butterfly, though, for Psycho. And yes, Destroyed eventually gets brought down. There's just not enough here to keep these, duelists alive. Fate does throw down that invisible boundary, but it feels like it just comes a little bit late in the day. Because Luminosity getting off to a bad start with the dive composition is always a pretty ill omen. King Beam is ignoring this cellular corrosion, just doesn't even care because they know that Trust Me has no follow-up damage for them. Naga gets into the fight and brings Lanax down here, but the Royal Beam is still definitely feel advantaged. And the Goddess of Death here out in the open could be devastating.
Yeah, Hela could definitely clutch this. There's no more support ultimates available for the defense. Invisible Woman ult popped there by Royal Beamers, and now Hela going over the top into the sky. Wants to use as much as possible with his life and then, use that ult as an escape tool. But he needs to get some kills pretty quick here. Luminosity still have a chance to clutch, but Hela maybe even has a chance to hold on to this for the next round. I mean, and this is real discipline being shown by Royal Beamers. 100-0 in the first round. We talked about them being an unknown quantity. It seems that they're taking that in stride. Luminosity dive falling flat and holding the forward ground. Luminosity, they get another opening pick though onto the Hela. That's pretty massive. Dance of the Butterfly into the backline, but not finding any finished kills.
Yeah, I like that. Everyone's sort of crowding around Fate's little shield there. It doesn't really take damage from Dance of the Butterfly for the most part. So they get passive healing off that, and then as a bulwark, give it over. So Luminosity don't spend support ultimates to protect themselves from that Dance of the Butterfly. Here's a Meteor M that crashes into a wall, apparently. Lanax gonna wish he had that one back. Invisible boundary, though, now does expire as Psycho sees the Strangling Prison has tied all of Luminosity together. But they take a big hit whilst they're trying to play from the periphery with that crossbow. It is, Trust Me, though, finally falling. Luminosity do have something to work with, but losing Destroyed now with Naga off respawn, it's curtains for LG for that fight.
Yeah, Psycho's cutting him up, did a great job taking attention in that fight and staying alive. Rajaro does find one. Yeah, I mean, just very, giving full respect there to the threat of that level 1 Crook ultimate, but the fact that they don't force it out, pretty painful now. This slow defense is costing them potentially the round. Wolverine jumping around. They have to get in, though. Help that Magneto.
Yeah, just how do you get in? That's the big question. Psycho here, having used the Dance of the Butterfly, now can play from the edges of the fight. But Meteor M comes down. Pokey biding their times. Destroyed only takes 2 of those globs to bring down, and Crook is trying to play close to the contact lens for some healing, but they're going to have to pull away for it eventually. Naga on the Wolverine, something that we didn't really highlight. It does fall. Luminosity, though, are at 99, a threshold here to even up this first map. Some damage to the mix, but it's so difficult when King Beam's ultimate is in play. Not enough damage to push through that healing over time. And there's the Strangling Prison deployed now by Polly. Royal Beamers feel like they're advantaged. Destroyed's able to find one, but Trust Me and Rajaro have both gone down. That is a Luminosity without a front line to speak of.
And that should be the map. Luminosity, I don't even think they have time to get the Strange TP. Hiding in the corner, though, for the touch with the Invisible Woman. It's going to get them another chance at this fight. Naga has the ultimate, needs to turn it around, but got bursted down. Couldn't really get into that engagement. Royal Beamers up 1. The Invisible Woman touch, though, is going to get the Strange Portal onto the point, and that Mantis ultimate is going to give them the staying power they need in the fight. Polly in trouble there, but gets built up by the rest of the strategists. That's a massive connection there from Magneto. 2 pickoffs. Luminosity struggling. Wolverine ult not finding any kill connections.
Yeah, I mean, Naga just ult straight away. He needs to try and find something, and it's pretty disruptive, but Naga gets caught out on the way past there. Lanax has been deadly in these last couple of moments. 4 knockouts in that last fight for Royal Beamers' Magneto, and they have helicomps, but a very standard approach here for Royal Beamers. Straight on in, and already they've just abducted Rajaro.
Okay, he's dead already. That's pretty rough for the defense. They should be in a decent position here for Royal Beamers to start moving up, but I like the methodical approach, making sure that they deal with this Hela on the flank first. She has always the threat to clutch, always the threat to make something happen. Is going to get cleaned up, though. No, felt forced to make a play on Destroyed. And that should be a cap for Royal Beamers. We are going to go for a Strange Portal, so Luminosity want to fight this, but they're still down that Hela.
Yeah, the strange portal's up and to the left, if I'm not mistaken here, and Royal Beamers are wary of it, but here they just fold off the point a little bit, make it hard for Luminosity to just get an easy free fight. Polly has gone down though, and there's the strangling prison that have been sat on for a while, but trust me, they give up their life in order to deploy it, and I don't know if that's really going to be worth it, because the follow-up was just not really there. This is ham-fisted from Luminosity. Extremely haphazard. We're already almost up to a second tick for the Beamers.
Yeah, it's the copied invisible boundary there, and Destroy does find the kill, but Luminosity's been forced onto a very weird comp here out of desperation. They are going to be able to close out the fight. That goes down so quick here. Both teams hesitant to deploy that invisible boundary, looking for something. Okay. Elimination is found, though. Hold on. That's Rajaro down.
Now, the question is if that's a really worthwhile trade. Pokey does get picked off here. Luminosity now, it hangs in the balance. They've lost Fate, though. Destroyed here as well, being manhandled, in fact, by the Groot. But Luminosity here are finding these important pickoffs where they're coming. It's a Hela and getting rid of the Magneto. Royal Beamers here. What? Surely, are we going to do this? Royal Beamers actually about to try and go for this now with the copied invisible boundary, but it's super risky. Here comes that cellular corrosion. It's going to be matched Invisible Woman ultimates now as Kem does double up on that. But
and Royal Beamers now going to go for another copy here, trying to make this one happen. They have that Groot ult. If they can see the opportunity to get aggressive, that's Trust Me going down. Groot looking for his opportunity to connect into that backline. Strange shield getting low now, under pressure.
There's the eye.
Nakamoto finds the connection, but it's blocked pretty much entirely by that invisible boundary. No one can find the follow-up kills, not even with Kraken Impact.
Yeah, they tried to double the Kraken Impact down on that one. It's pretty risky, honestly.
Beamers keep fighting it out, even down players. They're coming back off the respawns. Naga forced into the Kraken Impact. Used defensively, tried to get out. Okay, is just going to slip around the corner, but that Magneto Meteor blocked, though, seems by Rajaro. Great positioning from the shield, but the rest of the follow-up spam is enough to take down the Winter Soldier.
Nicely done, Polly able to get in there with the extra damage. Pushing up, Rajaro also falling. The Groot popping off. That's 3 here for Polly. The Royal Beamers are still on the road here. This is the kind of map, though, that, again, can be really hard to finish.
This is going to be a really difficult touch if they get it at all. They're going to go for it. Ults immediately popped, though.
Okay, well, that was a meteor that was intended for Polly, apparently. They strike it off pretty easily, though, on a strangling prison. Catches Naga out as there was a meteor in to combine with it. Larnax playing it safe here. Crook actually able to pick Polly off, so that front line getting a little bit dangerous to inhabit for Royal Beamers. And healing might not be sufficient. Rajaro is able to deal with the Hela now, and Psycho's looking for an angle away in, but Magneto shield, the bulwark being applied to Trust Me, Groot being so bulky as it is, Destroyed now finally has that space to play in. Here come the reinforcements, but it's too late. Polly switches over towards the strike. That's exactly what they've been so far. It's Naga going down early. Pokey does get dove on, but the Rejuve domain comes out nice and early, which means Rajaro gets flattened. Trust Me should not be able to walk away with this, considering they were the instigator. And no, they'll get brought down here. I like this Royal Beamers defense side setup, and LG, non-negligible amount of damage there. Okay, here comes that Goddess of Death now. Meteor M being used. So that's the only ultimate so far from Royal Beamers. It doesn't get them anything. That's fine. Kraken Impact, though. Psycho clearly feels like they need just a little bit more. And who am I to argue with them? Because it's fun to watch. Naga, though, is able to take him down. Beautifully done. A Kraken Impact coming from Luminosity's side here. Could be an option. And yep, it's going to get popped here. It may not be enough, though. Because after that one kill, Naga just does not have the backup.
Needs to find a huge opportunity. Big resets off the Kraken Impact, or else it is going to be Pokey taking it home here on the Hela.
Desperate times. Desperate measures now for Luminosity. Kraken Impact is there, but Naga got nothing off his last one. You can see that contact lens is being pushed to its very limit. Here it comes. Impact straight away. Meteor M. Okay. Oh, it's perfect. Crook thought it was safe. Clones were throwing up and the Rejuve domain was there, but the patience from Lilacs to make sure they secured that kill was great. Still, another invisible boundary. Oh, buddy, that is filthy. Absolutely slammed. Little spaghetti meatballs for you, folks. Psycho wipes Luminosity off the point. And the Eye of Agamotto comes too little, too late. Royal Beamers are up 2-0. Naga has to use a very valuable cooldown. The burst is pretty real. Good patience here for Pokey. Now there's a monstrous spawn of the slowing variety behind them, and that's a pretty embarrassing one to lose because Pokey has to understand that there's the potential for, you know, Namor to throw a couple spawns out.
Lonix has been so solid here on the Magneto, holding the Meteor M for the moment. The Whale comes in with the damage amp there, connects first. Luminosity pulling the trigger just a little bit quicker, get rewarded for it with 2 kills. Royal Beamers trying to commit with a couple more ultimates, but it looks too difficult now. Rajaro on the cleanup here with Magneto, getting some nice finish kills. Just delay here from Polly on the Venom, wasting some time. Like, I'm shocked that Pokey even cleared that, and they finished Destroyed on the back of that. They know he's low off the ulti. But the awareness to even clear that position is sick. I'm definitely going to be abusing that Hella spot in my ranked games. Dance of the Butterfly now available into the back line. And they've already forced a Luna Snow ultimate. Pokey just biding his time, ready for the cleanup when that ultimate goes down.
Beast of the Beast here for Trust Me. Much needed. They were very, very low when Rajaro's not able to find any connection here with his Meteor M. King Beam now comes with the Luna ultimate. Pokey's chilling. Dance of the Butterfly ended up claiming the Namor. And Fate's about to get crept up on. They've got nowhere to go. No support. And pop the Ice Arts to try and make it an interesting duel. Yeah, that's what's for you, baby. A pick on a strategist. That's all they want. Clear the Monstro spawns out. Geez, the damage to the front line is pretty fearsome. And there is Psycho eventually falls. Pokey, those even it up very quickly. Destroyed has been getting dominated again by this Psylocke pressure for so much of this game. Naga knows they're a little bit safer now, but there's the Lunar Soul ultimate in play. And here's the Meteor Lunox trying to go for the whole pack of Luminosity there. It doesn't work out. King Beam actually ends up falling to the Horn of Proteus. And Polly has a decent commanding view of the situation now that Lunar Snow ultimate about to tick down, and it's a time to go in for a diving strike. Cellular Corrosion popped here. Into the back line we go, but Polly does need some support. It's a Horde of Proteus toting Psycho there that's going to return to the fray here and have an opportunity to try and swing this fight.
Venom pops the ulti, and it looks to be a little bit too difficult here, potentially. Luminosity coming back with a Strange Portal as well on Naga. That pickoff onto Lana to be forced into his own barrier. And some early ults having to be popped out of Royal Beamers. Trust Me, though, finds the first kill onto Ken. Couldn't get his copy off.
Yeah, Trust Me doing some serious work. That's pretty massive. Though it will mean that Ken's timing to return to the fight will be slightly staggered, and maybe that could favor Royal Beamers, but still not what you're looking for. Now the Meteor M gets blocked up. Dance of the Butterfly now is going to come down on top of Luminosity. Do they have anything to defend against this? Oh, no. Well, they walked off the point. They were probably going to win. That's
Back into the fight. The momentum has really shifted in the series.
And look, like, how do you sort of stop? I mean, God, that is pretty scary. Beast of the Abyss going to be used here. Holly might have been, rather, they might have been hoping for a bigger connection. Trust Me went very, very low here, but that is just what you can do with Venom. Basically, live inside the enemy backline for an indeterminate amount of time and still get away with it. Royal Beamers, though, they maintained their nerve, and now Polly has a chance to do some diving of their own.
Magneto, Meteor M trying to be blocked, but he's holding it through duration. Now let's see the combos. The more Lunar Snow. Naga again with 2. He just hits it every single time. The team, perfect synergy from the strategist. And that double dance floor 2 at once.
Decent charge on it, though. That is a pretty nasty Meteor. Had it actually hit, unfortunately. He waits too long on the trigger.
Yeah, King Beam has to pop the ultimate, but Luminosity staying alive, outlasting the fight so far. It's a big pick from Pokey now, over the top on the Hella. Has to get something done, has drawn the attention of the team. Just barely going to crow through. Ult on the point, but he can't get through. Bursted instantly. Nice timing on the Mag Cannon by Rajaro. And that's a dominant map out of Luminosity. When they're able to play the Venom with the group band, they look like a completely different team. This matchup 180'd in that last map.
100%. I, look at the bands here as well. Like Royal Beamers. Kraken Impact?
They get a connection with that one. Yeah, maybe overextended, and the counter Kraken Impact is available here. So Psycho could turn the tables. This is overconfidence out of Luminosity, overplaying their hand. And the comp swap from Royal Beamers, they go back to the meta comp. This is a classic. Run a cheese comp, a troll comp for 45 seconds. Enemy team gets overconfident, and then we win.
What do you think was copied
from bottom left for the Groot?
Okay.
The Groot ult in, but a lot of defensive utility here.
A lot of Cosmic Yarn Amplifiers being deployed here. Yeah, Kraken Impact looks like it was the copy from Ken's side of things anyway. Meteor M comes in. Oh, excuse me. He copied Magneto. The big Meteor in the current year being used there as Psycho looking to try and clean people out. And that was a pretty timely arrival with that impact, wasn't it? 4 for Psycho. And there's no one left to kill. All right, another damage boost coming in. Naga biding his time. There's no good option. And frankly, that coverage on that Kraken Impact connection left a little bit to be desired. Okay, looking to push for more here. Obviously duplicating again the Winter Soldier. Strangling Prison came in, and here's Psycho. Kraken Impacts for everybody. Psycho so far has been getting max value out of those Winter Soldier ultimates, and Royal Beamers are going to obviously using the ultimate extends the duration of the God of Mischief rather a little bit longer. Fake goes down to Lanax, excuse me. Destroy picked off, headshot there. Psycho back into the fight though because of King being BRB. Royal Beamers here with a player advantage now. And Strangling Prison just around the corner. Things are looking good for them. Finally, they seem to find some inroads here.
They get some kills, but they've been trading on a lot of key players. So Royal Beamers, they're going to have to come back fast, try to get back into the fight. For Luminosity, they need to not stagger, though. These players out of the spawn are taking a big risk. If they get picked off here, they're not really going to have a chance to reset before the last fight. Groot looking for that early ult deep in the spawn, catches a lot of players, catching them as well with the wall. And Wolverine's in there, dicing it up in the backline, forces that regenerative domain.
That goes on in. It looks like the healing factor was actually still alive, which could be good in a bit of a later fight now. King Beam just hitting that right click for the boys as much as possible. Z-Pack thrown down now. Infinite ammo available for Psycho, and Polly's able to find Rojaro now. Psycho wants to get in there, but doesn't find anything on the back of that bionic arm. Tainted Voltage thrown up. No connection there either. Kraken Impact, though, is at work for Luminosity now. Naga needs to be stopped and quick. Hovering up in the sky, presenting himself as a tasty morsel, but nobody takes the shot. Another reset here for Naga. Looking for extra damage. Pokey already gone down. Psycho gives up another reset, and Naga should be able to run roughshod here over over Royal Beamers. They're running out of time, but Psycho's been 3D printed back into the game. Destroyed is on the field once more. Huge way to announce your entrance. Naga definitely the one to watch now. It doesn't need to reload roster stern, but it's very, very low as that Meteor came very close to taking him down, and Ken's able to find the extra damage. Strangling Prison available again for Polly here. How can they avoid this Meteor M? The answer is they cannot. Rojaro gets good damage, and Polly falls after the fact. Lanax in the middle of it, but the walls are going to keep the rest of the interlopers out as Royal Beamers are stopped right before the end of the map. Cosmic Amplifier, immediate bulwark required here to defend the Royal Beamers, but the damage boost is too much for them to deal with, and Naga, of course, had just the ultimate to pair with it. Nice first fight for Luminosity here, and they've got a one fight here.
Meteor over the top, blocked by regenerative domain.
Again, a lot of abilities can sort of soak that damage up. However, the repeated hits of Kraken Impact can be a problem. Trust me, though, it's going to get back into the fight here, and that is what Rocket can bring you, that extra player you're virtually playing with. The reinforcements for Royal Beamers, though, they're there as well. Ken's bringing them back into the frame, but they are dying just as quickly. King Beam will be able to make use here of this damage boost, buy themselves a little bit of time, and they're sitting on quite a number of ultimates. Kenny's going to dupe the Groot, try and get on the higher ground, but realizes a Strangling Prison might be needed to slow things down. Polly still gets picked up, but there's going to be a Groot here for the time being. Polly's going to be brought back into the fight now, and Naga is trying to break through with the Kraken Impact. It's finally enough to deal with the copied Groot. Ken is down. Pokey also picked off now, but King Beam is actually shooting. Naga ends up falling. And Vince, though, the middle of this fight, trust me, still very healthy. Crook there came out of a dupe, but eventually is going to fall now. It looks like Luminosity finally have the numbers to get forward. Ken going over towards the Star-Lord. Knows he needs to find a kill, pick somebody off, get them off the map. Rejuvenation domain isn't quite enough here for Royal Beamers to be able to stay alive, and Ken has to go deep and finds absolutely nothing. And so Luminosity will take us to a fifth map. Okay. Royal Beamers in there big time. Cellular corrosion, a problem for Psycho. Yeah, not getting out of that one. Nicely done. But trust me, has a bit of work to do if he wants to keep up, I guess, of the output between these two teams. Royal Beamers still have 5 players to work with now on this attack side. And the Luminosity defense set up here a little bit shell-shocked, now forced out of position entirely. Pokey playing very far forward to try and deny the defenders a chance to perch on the position, such that, trust me, the very durable mobile tank is the only player that can be here. Rojaro just right there ceased to exist.
Pokey starting to light it up here on the Hela. Retake now. Force destroyed. Needs to come out. Needs to take this duel. Dominant position, though, so far for Royal Beamers. Copy ulti, though, does come out from both squads, so a bit of a slowdown here in the fight.
Yeah, we do, of course, fight of both walls active. And Lanax just clearing some of those monstro spawns. That could really be a problem in those longer fights. Royal Beamers obviously do not have more of their own. They're very much settled on this Hela Winter Soldier look. And there's Fate just bowled over by Lanax there. Sees an opportunity to go after one of the backliners, so that is not a good sign for the defenders. They've stalled this fight out a little bit longer now. Beast of the Abyss being used by Trust Me, but it might have been better off kept in the back pocket for the fighters now. We get into the map properly.
Abusing this reset on the Loki clone is so ridiculous. When you just farm reset after reset, you cast your ult like 10 times in the fight. I think that may need to be looked at for Winter Soldier in the future, but for now, Royal Beamers, they say, you know what, maybe we're just not the team to bring that synergy and execute the Namor combo. It is difficult to do, in fairness. It's like got to be clean timing, great communication. The Namor has to kind of let the Lunas know ahead of time. She's got to hit the timing and be on him at exactly the right moment. And so with the Winter Soldier, I think this is just a much more comfortable setup for Royal Beamers, and they're making the most of it, even if it's a little bit off meta.
Jeez, that's a pick out of nowhere there. Crook just kind of getting dominated by Royal Beamers' ability to actually get some good high ground early. Soaking up some damage as Lanax here. Oh, great shielding and great presence of mind for Rojaro to realize that even though Fate was ulting, they were not invulnerable. So Great job with the screen there. Blocks that Meteor M. Still, Luminosity had to give up a little bit of ground because Royal Beamers had a Fate of Both Worlds from King Beam active, and now Pokey is going to force them all out of the sun. Well, fight in the shade if you blot out the sun with the arrows, I guess.
I mean, this splits all the backline away. They can't come in and support, which is allowing Royal Beamers to take full position on a blistering offensive pace. Now Fate goes down. Magneto in trouble, traded right back. Rajaro wants to make this hold. This would be a critical spot to defend, but now Psycho wants to put that last nail in the coffin, looking to get some resets, does have that next Kraken impact available.
Why is it that both these teams are good on the comps that each other are trying to play? That for me is the most confusing thing, because this Venom play from Royal Beamers has been fantastic. Polly's been punishing Fate over and over again, as well as Lanax, in fairness, for being out of position on that Lunar Snow. On multiple occasions, Crook and Fate are getting caught out of these fights, and Luminosity are feeling the pinch as a result.
Psycho back to the Winter Soldier, and it's clear that this player hero combo is here to stay, man. He is lighting it up so far in the offense. So many pickoffs, big ultimates, have been winning team fights back to back to back. Created the first opportunity map, heck, created like the last 3 opportunities on the map. This guy's carrying for Royal Beamers.
Man, 4 minutes and 6 to finish this map off. Polly been showing us how it's done. Now with the Feast of the Abyss at the ready, so just layers upon layers. Nothing to sort of double up with it, so it ends up just being brushed off. Got us to death here for Destroyed. See, Psycho almost suspended long enough to find a kill on them, but Rajaro has the follow-up damage after these shots start to come in. Great stuff on defense here. Luminosity really need to find some momentum at this point in the game. It looks like they do have it.
A lot of big order of operations here on the offense.
See pressure on Lanax. There's multiple javelins being thrown. Oh, buddy, that's perfect. A 2-for-1 special on strategists in the big 2025. God, I don't think I'm much better than that. Royal Beamers, surely. That has to be enough. Dying seconds of the time bank, in fairness, but now they are ready to make a last push at the map. Monster Spawn's going to be set up yet again, and in comes Fate. Out they go as soon as they basically appeared. Now Monster Spawn set up in a really scary... Oh, yep, that was a Lord of the Seas, I think, connection on the Pokey. Can't do much about that. If your opponent is like a, 200, 300 health hero, they will die in seconds if you have Spawn set up for it, so gotta respect that. Lanax does notice Naga here, and Naga's got to be a little careful trying to deploy the slowing Spawn there, and that's honestly going to force the Magneto away. I didn't find any value at all. The healing was good, and I didn't even really see anyone get knocked down. Destroyed, though, is going to be a little bit scared about this, but Psycho just overextended into that. Dangerous here for Royal Beamers. That basically is curtains for their defense here on that first point, and yep, the Symbiote is on the march. Slither, slide.
Retake through the choke point.
Lanax here just has to take this for the time being. Here him here. Oh, Fate. Ooh, it's a little bit close. Fate gets away with it. No one's going to be close to their ultimate. They have a chance to build it up here. Rajaro dominating there with the knives. 3 pickoffs there. Great timing on the Eye of Agamotto.
They're able to burn through that Goddess of Death. Now he's caught on the flank. Nice uses, though, of the symbiotic terrain. Creating an opportunity, though, for Royal Beamers to make the hold for the moment. They're still alive now. Luminosity commits with a copy ult. Eye of Agamotto into the backline. Rajaro with 2.
And of course, we have a Fate of Both Worlds here for Crook. So another dude, Lunar Snow ultimate means that Luminosity dishing damage out and frankly aren't vulnerable to anything Royal Beamers can offer. That's unlucky. Trust me, doesn't quite get out alive. And now with 2 minutes 42 on the clock, Luminosity are looking to reclaim what is theirs. Get another chance to test themselves against the Kings of Europe. Virtus Pro will await in our money match as LG complete the reverse sweep if against Spider-Man. If you can see him coming and preempt him, it's really hard to deal with. So not great for Royal Beamers. Again, this is the kind of map where you really only get one shot at the attack side when you go for that 1 minute extra time. Polly being taken note of there and taken to task instantly after.
He's going. Is he making it to point? No. I think Spider-Man at this level.
Psycho, yep, clearing those inanimate objects. Love to see that.
OP on this map, though, guys. Low key.
Well, they're tanks down, so there's that.
Wait a minute.
Naga does fall. Psycho trying to back up here. Jake still shilling for Squirrel Girl.
All damage is permanent. We're playing Counter-Strike now. Royal Beamers.
Well, one of our teams here. Anyway, the other one. Yeah, the other one just healing. Okay, thanks for all Beamers. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Taking Luminosity.